Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February the 3rd, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hopefully this episode finds you in a good spot. As we're still on the top half of the week, hopefully things are going well. You're maintaining. But yes, as for me, I'm doing good. We got another good night of rest. That was much appreciated, especially on a weekday. We got up not really feeling that sore. Took a little bit of Advil, and that killed the pain for the day. We love that. That's improvement. And then we got to work. Now, work was overall a fine day. I did have to work a little bit more topside than I liked. Work was light, like pretty much throughout the whole day. So I had to do a little bit of putbacks, yucky. But I did have some, I peppered that in with some good talks with some of the guys in maintenance when I got the opportunity. Weirdly, for some reason, one of the guys in maintenance decided randomly to start calling me White Tiger. And that apparently stuck with everyone in maintenance, so now they're calling me White Tiger. And they say it very odd. They say White Tiger, which is like, okay, a little problematic maybe. All right, whatever. But I'm gonna let y'all go off. And so then that prompted like all of us to get nicknames. So now one of the other guys who was like some old white dude, I'm like, he should be Black Tiger. We have to have a balance here. Okay. And there's another guy and I'm like, okay, well, that's got to be Tiger King. Look at him. It looks like Tiger King. And then today we came up with a nickname for the guy who's been making up all the nicknames. And it's like, you're going to be Lion King. Like we're just coming up with random shit. I don't know why this is happening, but I'm just kind of rolling with it here. It's nice to kiki in dark times. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, I mean that was a pleasant respite in my cold, slow day. But no, overall today was good. It was a solid day. Post work, we went to the gym. Another busy day, but not as busy. It was a tick lighter. Tick less traffic, so I'll take that. I wasn't able to get on the Smith machine today, but overall the free weights, we got our double circuit in. That was cool. That was solid. I actually wound up upping the weight. I went from 60 to 65, which is not common for me to do. I normally like to go start at my heaviest that I want to go for the day and then go lower. But there was enough people and there wasn't the 50s, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go to 45. Fuck that. So we're going to I guess I would have went to 55. I was like, I'm not going to 50 or 55 or whatever. I'm just gonna go up. That was essentially what I decided. So we went a little bit harder there, and that was good. But yeah, overall solid workout. We got everything done outside of the Smith machine, so that's a W. And then we came home, did our stretch, did our snack, did some research. Hell yeah. Now we have a lot of news to cover, and I do want to get into this. We got a lot to cover. I'm going to try to just, do a nice and fast roundup maybe. Hopefully it goes well. But, knock on wood. I gotta rant. I gotta fucking vent my frustrations. It's part of the reason why I have a podcast. So I do it here, and I don't clickety clack on the fucking social media like all the other people I've kind of grown to very much dislike, right? And it's about the AI slop. We got to talk about the AI slop again, okay? And I'm sure we're gonna have this conversation again and again and again and again in infinity, infinitum, whatever the fucking word is. I don't know. Forever and always. Sadly, I don't think our AI overlords are going anywhere. Is what I'm saying. But the problem I'm having is that every time a new AI trend comes up, I think the last one was turn yourself into Studio Ghibli character. And this one is hey, and instead of actually going to someone and getting a cool caricature art, we can have the AI do it for you. And, you're going to see some people fucking doing that shit because, people are, they like low-hanging fruit. They like little treats. And they like pressing a button and then, oh, look at this. They look all cute and fun. And that's fine for them, okay? Well, this is getting a lot of people up in arms. They're really upset. It's reigniting the whole discourse about, don't you know AI slop? Don't you know data centers are blowing up the fucking environment? Da, 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 blah, 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 blah. Yes. Most of these motherfuckers do know. The rest of the motherfuckers, I can guarantee you, do not give a damn. Okay, so you're making this post. Like probably for the umpteenth time again, and you're only probably getting more and more aggressive. For what? Like, what are we accomplishing here? Because once again, more times than not, you are preaching to the converted. Sans maybe, I don't know, less than a quarter of the people who are fucking with you, right? Like on your friends list, following us. Why are we having this every fucking time, bro? Like, it is one of those things where I completely get it. As a person who does a podcast where I talk about the same fucking bullshit stories over and over and over again, and they just get worse and they just get more sad. I get it. I do. But for me, personally, when I'm on Facebook.com, when I'm on Instagram, when I'm on X, the everything app, that's not what I'm here for, y'all. Look, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't talk about social issues. You shouldn't talk about big issues. You shouldn't talk about important things. I think you should, but I think you should do it in a way that actually is going to lead to some kind of real relevant change, or you're actually going to convert people in a real way that actually is going to do something cool. But you're just yelling at people. You're just fucking grandstanding. You're moral virtue signaling. You're doing all that fucking bullshit for what, dude? Does that make you feel better? Because it doesn't make the AI go away. You know what I mean? It has become so annoying to me to just scroll. And I'm literally seeing more people talk about AI slop than the actual AI slop itself. Okay? So, look, once again, I need to say this. I am with y'all on this. You are preaching to the choir, the converted, whatever. Oh, you got me. I'll use an AI overview every once in a while. Guess what? You're on Meta. You're on Meta.com. You're on any of these fucking apps, any of these fucking things. I guarantee you there's AI involved in what you're doing. So, I mean, congratulations. I guess you're holier than me. But that being fucking said, I just cannot stress this enough. What are we really trying to accomplish on Facebook? The app where we were supposed to be sharing funny memes, I don't know, shaking some ass or something, being provocative. Like what is the point? What is the purpose of this? Because once again, if you want to do something real, I don't think you're going to accomplish it on Facebook. I don't think you're going to accomplish it on any of these fucking apps, dude. Truly, I think it takes some kind of direct action. I don't want to get into the details of whatever said direct action is, but I guarantee you, clickety-clacking on the fucking internet is not going to make the change that you want come. Like, at the end of the day, these motherfuckers who are trying to make their fucking money, they're fucking nut because we live in a capitalist society. And at the end of the day, sadly, grimly, that's the only thing that fucking matters. Like, what do you hope to actually change here by yelling at your friends? It's so fucking annoying. So yeah, I've been just kind of trimming the hedges, just getting rid of motherfuckers. I don't care how long I've known you. Because it's like, bro, shut the fuck up, man. Like, just do something about it then. Stop yapping to the fucking people who already know about it, man. Like, come on. You're over here bitching to the team about it. Ugh. It's just, it's a very draining thing. And I don't know. One of the things I've just kind of had it up to the eyebrows about. I don't know. So I've just been really arced about it. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just have my little couple minutes to just really, you know, scream into the void about it. So there we go. You know, and look, you can hear this shit and you can say, man, bad take, Isaiah. And you know what? Correct. You got me dead, bro. I'm a fucking filthy asshole, hypocrite, piece of shit, man. Yeah, but like, there's nothing that we are doing about this that is actually practical, right? And I don't claim that anything that I do on this podcast is world changing. I do it for fucking me, okay? And maybe that's why you do what you do. You want to clickety clack because that's all you can do. That's you screaming against the void. But like, once again, you're making me see that when I scroll up and and sometimes I will take the added measures of like, I'll unfollow them but not unfriend them. You know what I mean? I'll mute them for 30 days. But then I realize, and sometimes I'll do it. I'll check their profile and see what they're about. And sure as shit, they're sharing the same things over and over and over again. Like, look, I'm glad that people are aware about the Epstein files and all that shit. But essentially, it's just people talking about pedophilia bad, AI bad, and they're not gonna do anything about it. They're not changing anything about it. They're not adding anything useful to the conversation. Now, as I close out this rant and then we get into our last break, I will say something I do like. I do appreciate whenever we are doing a social discourse. Be funny. Like, I think that is like the best way to reach people is to actually be funny. Like, it is the lowest common way to do it. And it's like, okay, at least you made me laugh and I'm going to think about that after. Okay, cool. Or come up with something, say something in a way that actually is going to be like thought provoking, not just you slinging shit at somebody, not just you yelling at a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, and even then that's kind of a risk because like what, you're just going full TED Talk mode on a motherfucker and that's gonna change their mind. And then what does that do? Because once again, it doesn't stop the data center from fucking, cranking out what they're cranking out. It doesn't stop any of these fucking corporations from once again being all in, no matter the fact that they know they're on a bubble or not. Like, they don't care. If they stand to make any kind of money, they are going to be all in and they don't care what fucking happens. All right. So I don't know how you're going to change that once again by just yapping. So that's why I always defer to just be funny, because at least then you get some fucking laughs and a guy like me goes, oh, all right. Yeah. Trunks would hate AI. Like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? And you dodge the axe from me. Okay. So I don't know, food for thought, word to the wise, or by all means, if this conversation right here and now turns you off to the point where you got to turn it off, then I mean, I'm glad you've listened for as long as you have. Thank you. Okay. I just had to get that off my fucking chest, man. That really, like, it's just been like so annoying, dude. Like, whether it's people claiming things are AI when they don't know how to fucking have an argument, or it's just them being mad at AI in general. It's like, brother, this isn't helping. You're not being helpful to any of this discourse, any of this fucking, and I wish you would shut the fuck up. And I'm sure people, come to me and wish I would shut the fuck up, but you can literally shut me the fuck up. You can just press stop. Never hear from me again. You can mute the podcast. It's gone. I'm gone, bro. You don't even have to follow, and that's okay. I've siloed this shit off for a reason. Usually when you go to my page, I'm sharing someone else sharing something that they feel is like provoking, and hopefully it's an interesting kind of thing. More times than not, I'm not. I'm sharing shit to be funny. Like, you feel me? I don't really like to be that thought provoking these days, man, because that shit don't work, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm jaded. Maybe I'm totally fucking jaded on this shit. Totally. I would admit that, but like, I'm tired, boss. And as I'm going through my fucking long day at work, I just don't want to see the same 10 people talk about, man, I can't believe I got to keep having this conversation with people that AI is killing the world. Yeah, man, we're killing the world at a very breakneck pace. Like we weren't going to do that with AI, by the way. Like, I'm sorry. I know I'm on this longer than I said I was going to be, but it just bothers me, because once again, these people will not do anything but clickety clack on their fucking computers. They won't even put down their damn jalapeno popper to fucking do some real fucking work to change anything. They won't. They never will. But I gotta hear their opinion on it, though. Fuck out of here. Sorry. No. Anyway, deleted, unfriended. Okay, enough about the bollocks. Let's fucking get into the news. From Yahoo News. Government shutdown ends after 4 days as Trump signs bipartisan funding compromise. The partial government shutdown ended Tuesday afternoon when President Trump signed a bipartisan funding compromise to reopen the government a few hours after it had been approved by the House of Representatives. That agreement helped bring the shutdown to a close on its fourth day and set up further debate over the Department of Homeland Security's budget. The most recent shutdown was a far cry from the record-setting 43-day standoff that ground Washington, D.C. to a halt late last year. But the path to making this such a brief funding lapse was far from smooth. We're not going through all of that. We're just going to, maybe read a couple more sentences here. Early last week, Democrats in the Senate insisted that they would block any bill that provided any additional funding to DHS, the department that oversees Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, and then Customs and Border Patrol. Now, essentially, the deal that they have come up with is going to fund it for about 10 days. So in this 10 days, they're supposed to be having some really hard talks to get to the bottom of what to do about ICE, which I think is very funny because I highly doubt they're going to do anything of relevance. They're talking about, we need to have the body cams. We need to have better training, blah, 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 blah. These are things that we've talked about with law enforcement in perpetuity. Like, it never fucking changes. It is a can that gets kicked along all the time in Congress, and no real change comes of it. So, not to mention, I've said this before, I'll say it a fucking again. The Democrats are not on your side. They're not on our side about this shit with DHS. They just aren't. I think it was nice to believe that. I don't know, maybe circa beginning of the Obama era, but that proved to be very false. Like, so it is very discouraging to kind of see this shit come to a full roost, aka 2 white people in Minnesota got killed. So now we really got to do something now. And it's like, man, this shit has been going on and it's going to keep going on because you guys are going to keep letting it happen. Like, and we're talking about, yeah, let's make sure we put the body cameras on so we have a good video of them doing this fucking shit. Like, okay, yeah, let's give them better training so that they, you know, maybe don't go as hard, you know, maybe like, once again, they don't kill these certain people. And then we just keep focusing on all these other people that you can kind of forget about and not think about. Like, this just isn't changing anything. And I think it's very annoying that, once again, you just have, as performative as conservatives are about this shit, the Democrats are no better. They're not any different. So, you know. To a certain extent, I'm glad that this was shorter in terms of a shutdown. It only lasted pretty much a weekend and some change. Motherfuckers just get back to work. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, anytime these shutdowns happen, government workers, you know, people who are average Joes, whatever the fuck, they're in a lurch. They're having to deal with the brunt of that. They have to potentially work without pay. Like, what are we fucking doing here? We're supposed to be the most wealthiest fucking country in the world, and we can't fucking get that shit together. Once again, because once again, these motherfuckers want to do some fucking performance art. Like some of my favorite fucking posters on Facebook.com. God damn. Anyway, let's go ahead and move along. I imagine we will revisit this situation as it is going to be, can I say the word matriculating? Is that a word? You know, it's going to be, it's going to be developing over the next 10 days. Let's say that. There we go. All right, let's move on. This was a story that I was like, what is happening in Las Vegas? Let's see. From ABC News. 1,000 samples sent for testing after possible biological lab found inside Las Vegas home. Bro, this is literally giving Resident Evil Biohazard, but only it's like, you know, I don't know, maybe potentially nation states involved. Let's dive in. Local and federal investigators in Las Vegas are actively working to determine what substances were found inside a home described as a possible biological lab, with over 1,000 samples sent for testing, authorities said. Officials searched the scene on Saturday morning, with investigators saying they are currently uncertain what exactly was found. That's unsettling, because I kind of want details on this shit like ASAP, right? Like if you were living in this neighborhood, right? You would be like, wait, there was chemicals, there was like what biological lab, huh? Next door, what? And they're saying, yeah, we don't know exactly what it is. We're working on it. According to sources, the investigation began as a code violation call when authorities began to suspect that illegal medical-type biological research materials might be stored at the property. The Joint Terrorism Task Force took over the investigation. The potential biological and hazardous materials were primarily located in a locked garage. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Sheriff Kevin McMahill said during a press briefing on Monday. In the garage, the investigators found multiple refrigerators with vials of unknown liquids. Unknown liquids in gallon-sized containers, a centrifuge, and other laboratory equipment. In an open refrigerator and freezer, investigators saw a significant volume of material, including vials and storage containers, with liquids of different colors and compositions. Notice that we're talking about these liquids and the fucking color, but like, what is that? And they're like, we don't know. We'll get back to you. It's like, I'm getting scared. The scene presented a high level of complexity with materials that have not yet been identified and still require careful assessment, McMahill said. More than 1,000 samples were collected, according to Chris Delzato, the special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas office. The evidence has since been transported to an FBI lab for testing, according to the sheriff. Authorities did not provide details on what kinds of tests were underway. Cool. Awesome. We recognize that the public is seeking clarity. What were they testing for? What possibilities are being considered? However, as the sheriff mentioned in cases like this, our process relies on being slow and methodical from the collection of evidence to the testing of samples, Delzato said. So that's fair. You don't want to jump to conclusions. You don't want to make a statement saying, well, it could be this and it could be that, and you have no 100% idea. You know, you don't want to send people into a fucking panic. I do understand that. I completely get it, right? It's just a little unnerving, right? The person arrested on Saturday, identified as Ori Solomon, 55, is believed to be the property manager at the location, according to McMahill. Solomon has been charged with felony disposal, discharge of hazardous waste in an unauthorized manner, and remains in custody, according to court records. 3 people who rented a room from the property owner were safely removed from the residence and are not involved in the investigation at this time, McMahill said. The owner of the property was arrested and charged in 2023 in connection with an investigation into an illegal biolab in Redley, California, authorities said. The owner, a Chinese national, remains in federal custody and has pleaded not guilty. So this is where the nation state part comes involved, and this is where, I get a little concerned, right? Because this isn't like the spy balloon shit or anything like that. This is a little bit more unnerving because it's like, wait, so you tie this guy to another country. Okay, we got hazardous materials. We don't know what it is, but we're about to talk about maybe what we think they are just based off this old lab from 2023. And not to mention, let's talk about the lab in 2023. So this is the second time this has happened. Ugh, patterns, not good. Okay, so this is a little bit more concerning to me. This makes me go, okay, what's up? What's going on? Are we in a 24 scenario right now? Like, where's Kiefer Sutherland, bro? I need Jack Bauer right now. The case led to a congressional investigation that found the legal biolab had allegedly been receiving money from Chinese banks and housing thousands of samples of potential pathogens labeled as HIV, malaria, TB or tuberculosis, COVID-19, and even Ebola. The items found in the Las Vegas residence were consistent in appearance with the items found and described in the Reedley, California lab investigation, McMahill said Monday. And this is where they just dropped the mic on the article. So it's like, you're seeing that is the connection that they are willing to make. That it's like, we found some of the same kind of stuff at that lab as we did in this lab. And it's like, doom. And then this would be the do. Okay, so I'm like, this is worth covering. I definitely want to come back to this if we get any more details, any more updates. Because I don't want to get speculative. I don't want to get conspiratorial. Okay, there's no need. All right, we'll cover this as it comes. I didn't know about this Reedley lab thing. This was news to me. It didn't hit my radar back then. I would have been doing coverage back then. So I don't know. I mean, hey, I'm only human. I missed some stories. That's a mea culpa. That's a my bad. Got to own that. But there is a little bit more here because there's other people who are mentioning this story. Let's see. This is from ABC 30 Action News. Let's see here. The county of Fresno and the city of Redley. Okay, I just want to make sure this is the right thing. Okay, in the city of Redley provided an update on the Redley lab. The FBI and Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department revealed Monday that Chinese national David He, operator of the legal Reedley lab at the center of the 2023 congressional investigation, is now linked to a similar operation in Vegas. So there you go. Another name is involved there. We have the Ori Solomon, and then we have the David He. So there you go. Just, I guess, maybe some names to put on a board and save for later. I don't know. But yeah, I guess we're in the thick of it. A little concerning, a little scary. Anyway, enough about that. Let's go ahead, drop the biolab shit. The hazardous materials. Let's go ahead and, put that in a box. We got to go to Norway. We got to talk about some Norway royalty, which is already something I'm kind of not stoked on. I've kind of avoided, as much European royalty as I kind of could. We typically only talk about old sausage fingers in the old UK. King Charles. And I like it that way. And now we got to dig into some fucking sordid shit. Anyway, let me stop doing the prepositioning. Is that the right word? Whatever. From the BBC. Son of Norway's crown prince hears details of rape charges in tense trial for royal family. Prosecutors in Norway have detailed 4 charges of rape against the son of Norway's crown princess. Norway's crown princess in the biggest case to come to court here for years. Marius Borg Høiby appeared in court to deny the most serious of the 38 offenses he's accused of. The court also heard evidence from a woman he is alleged to have raped in 2018. He is not a member of the royal family himself. His lawyer said he was a young man who deserved a fair trial and condemned press treatment of him. The trial comes against a backdrop of almost daily revelations surrounding him and his mother, Crown Princess Mette Marit, who is facing increasing criticism after it emerged she was cited in hundreds of emails showing extensive contacts with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, we can't escape him. He's everywhere. He is in your emails, okay? Hopefully not your email. Okay, don't. No, please don't. Dear listener. Apparently over 900. That's crazy. Also, they had such a rapport. They had such a good buddy friendship, the two of these, this little duo, this little pair, Epstein and Marit, that she stayed at his Florida estate for a few days. So that was a thing. So that's already a concerning thing. That's a problematic thing. I think it's got people up in arms. But then the main focus being on the son, Høiby. Apparently, he became a part of the royal family, obviously through his mother getting married. I think he was like 3. Has been raised in the family, but I think in these kind of situations, you're definitely now a man apart. You're a person apart. Like once all of these allegations and stuff came up and actually were getting revealed, I think the royal family, I guess, immediately, gave him the Prince Andrew treatment or Andrew Mountbatten Windsor treatment, kind of shuffled him on out, kind of sliced him out. But yeah, apparently there's been more things that are coming up now, and we have this trial. There are details in this, but I feel like I've already said a lot here. Hopefully, I imagine as the trial progresses, or maybe even we get to an ending, we'll come back and maybe do a recap, maybe touch on some more details there. Very upsetting, very frustrating stuff to cover for sure. So by all means, if you would like the details, if you'd like to get more familiar with the story, that's why I cite the sources. You can go on BBC, you can look it up, you can read it all. But yeah, that is the trial he is up, against right now. I do plan on coming back to the story, but it's very fucked. It's very ugh. But I want to close on this because I was listening to the BBC, and this is something that really icked me out a little bit. Was hearing the people of Norway kind of defend the king and queen and the royalty, at least the royalty, right? And then they're like, oh, well, the prince is cool, we just don't like her, the mom in the situation, because of all the stuff. But it's also she's of common stock, so to speak. I'll put that in quotations there. And then married into this family. And it just seems like they are willing to rally around the king here. They are willing to rally around their royal family, their little darlings. And I generally hate that just on its face. Why? These people are at best usually your mascots in this day and age. They serve no real purpose or role. They are just vibes. Why? It would be like wanting to defend Tony the Tiger, but Tony the Tiger's son is involved in a fucking rape case. No, ew, gross. Pop the fucking balloon here. The image is ruined. You don't need this. Your tax-paying dollars are going to fund this kind of overall life. The lifestyles of all these people. Why? What's the point? They're no better than you, dude. I don't get it. It just seems like a gilded cage that you are locking yourself into when you have a monarchy like that, but you're not a monarchy. You're a normal, fucking nation state like everybody else at this point. This is just, once again, a vibe, a royal vibe. I don't know. It's always strange to me. Maybe this is my American sensibilities, I say that as I have my fucking, king in orange, but goddamn, at least we got to vote for him for that one time. Now the Patriots are taking over, so I don't know. I don't know who could say, but I don't know, man. It's just strange to me that, like, I think they even took a poll. 75% of people in Norway are like, yeah, no, we like the king, we like the queen, we like the royal family. They're cool, they're solid, whatever. Just don't like that boy and that mama. Yuckers. That was not a Norwegian accent, by the way. I don't know. I need that for the record. I did some practice before in the car. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna get myself canceled on Blue Sky if I do that. So no. Actually, no, I've got to be canceled on Blue Sky. There's no way. Anyway, let's see. We got another article I wanted to cover. I'm gonna take a water break. Once again, from the BBC, though. 14 migrants dead after collision with Greek Coast Guard boat. At least 14 migrants have died after a speedboat carrying them collided with a Hellenic Coast Guard vessel off the coast of the island of Chios late on Tuesday. Greek authorities said the speedboat was making dangerous maneuvers, which apparently in Europe they spell maneuvers, very interesting, and that a pursuit was underway at the time of the collision in the Chios Strait near the village of Vrontares. 24 people were rescued, some of whom were seriously injured, and others are reportedly still missing. The Coast Guard has not yet clarified the exact circumstances around the collision, which I think are important. We've covered situations with Greece and how they have handled migration in the past. It's not our first time, not our first rodeo dealing with this kind of stuff. We've covered some cruel fucking stories. Sadly. So it is hard for me to just take at Greek Coast Guard, whatever, at their word when they're saying, oh yeah, they were just driving so crazy and erratically and then, they crashed into a coast guard. It sounds like you could easily say that you guys were haranguing them, trying to chase them down, and then they got into the situation, which is like, well, how are you saving any lives in that situation? And case in point, or the point is, they weren't trying to do that. They were just trying to apprehend these people and make sure that they never set foot in Greece. That is always a point blank period thing. So, I know that that's not a narrative that gets put out that way, but once again, when you sit on these stories enough, or sometimes when enough truth comes out, sometimes enough of evidence, whatever, reality, you go, oh, that is what's happening. And then you ask some of these politicians, and they're like, yeah, that's what we're doing. Like, we don't want them here. And it's like, oh my God, these are human beings, dude. Like, they are in the midst of risking life and limb, and you're being like, yeah, but you don't set one foot on our fucking precious land. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Let me continue. A search and rescue operation was ongoing on Tuesday night, which involved 4 Coast Guard vessels, a privately owned boat carrying civilian divers, and a helicopter. Greek state broadcaster ERT said the injured included 7 children, a pregnant woman, and 2 Coast Guard officers. 4 deaths were initially reported, but an update issued at 2300 local time said 10 additional bodies have been recovered, bringing the confirmed death toll to 14. Now, I do want to add that, hey, good that they attempted and did rescue some people. That's important. It's worth noting. That's very key, very crucial. And condolences to the people who fucking lost their lives, essentially just trying to do the best they could to get to a better life. I think that that's something you got to remember when we're talking about any of these stories, whether we're talking about it in Greece or we're talking about it in America, wherever the fuck. These are people. These are not illegals. These are not, undesirables. These are not even fucking criminals, dude. They are human fucking beings who are trying to make it in this fucking world. Like you, like me, like anyone you fucking care about, dude. And to treat them like less than human for whatever reason that you can fucking come up with is bullshit. It just is, man. Like, I don't get how you get to square that and then go to sleep at night because some fucking guy in a suit said something to you that kind of resonated in your lizard goddamn brain because you're scared of people who look different than you. Or you're upset because you're not making money the way you want. Like, just stop, man. Come on, man. All right, let's move along. From the Associated Press, U.S. shoots down Iranian drone that aggressively approached an aircraft carrier, military says. A U.S. Navy fighter, U.S. Navy, no, I said it that way. A U.S. Navy fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone that was approaching the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea, U.S. Central Command said Tuesday, threatening to ramp up tensions as the Trump administration warns of possible military action to get Iran to the negotiating table. The drone aggressively approached the aircraft carrier with unclear intent and kept flying towards it, despite de-escalatory measures taken by U.S. forces operating in international waters. Central Command spokesman Captain Tim Hawkins said in a statement. I feel like that is a good name for like a guy out at sea. Captain Tim Hawkins. I don't know. Anyway, the shoot-down occurred within hours of Iranian forces harassing a U.S.-flagged and U.S.-crewed merchant vessel that was sailing in the Strait of Hormuz, the American military said. The rest of this is going to go into more or less recap, with us and Iran and all that, yada, yada, yada. At least is, recent time. This is an interesting escalation. It's worth covering. It's worth noting. I say escalation, but it does feel like tit for tat. Like, let's not forget that it is the U.S. that are coming into these international waters with the intent of harassing Iran. Like, they've just actively said it and saying, hey, if you don't do exactly what we're asking of you, then we're going to blow you up or something. Like, we're going to fuck you up, man. So, and not to mention too, initially when we had this conversation, a year back, it was over nuclear stuff. The deal has changed. Like, we are coming in Darth Vader style saying, I've altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it any further. Like, we're now adding more. Like, you can't do ballistic shit. You can't have any other networks with any other, organizations like Hezbollah or the Houthis in Yemen. Like, we're trying to cut all that shit off. And essentially, Iran's like, bro, shut up. No, like, you want to talk to us about nuclear shit? That's fine. We can come back to the table and actually talk about that. But the other stuff, no, don't talk to. And I actually love this because let me say it. Let me paraphrase it Isaiah's way. Essentially, Iran said, "Talk to me nice. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, or don't talk to me at all." Which, in a way, I do respect. Now, granted, they're obviously on some brutal regime shit. Yes, they slaughtered thousands of fucking people who were just out trying to protest. Fuck that. Fuck them for that. You know what I mean? Fuck the fucking theocracy, bullshit. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Still, it is crazy to be in the situation where we're just big stick talking. And it's like, brother, are we just gonna do gumbo diplomacy until what? Everyone is laid low? Is that the plan? Are we so back? I don't know. It's a frustrating thing, but this feels minor, but who knows? Maybe it could ratchet up into something more. Who knows? I was surprised to see Iran get a little spurky with the drone. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to our last story. It's lighter than all the others, so huzzah for that. I feel like we need it. I feel like I start off hot at the blog part, talking about my thoughts on fucking AI haters. And now here we are. We're talking about Disney, though, to close out. Okay? All right? We are leaving our Bob era, and we are getting a Josh. Anyway, let's go ahead and take our last break, and we'll go ahead and close it out. Now that I had this thought earlier. I'm like, I wonder what people would do to try to get AI gone, get actually rid of it. And I was thinking, I'm like, and of course I just took it to a video game place, a fantasy place. I was like, would we do a Gears of War style EMP bomb and just completely level all electronics or whatever? Shit, we're going kind of Dune mode there, kind of fucking Butlerian jihad. If you know, you know. Is that what they would do? Because once again, then you're not getting your doohickeys, you're not getting your gadgets. No AI means all that, right? And not to mention, we would just build that shit all back up. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm always curious what people think, what their game plan is. Oh, it's I'm gonna browbeat and yell at all my friends, and then we're all gonna stop using AI. and then AI is gonna wither away and disappear. The end. Like, I don't know. I'm curious if that's what people think. I know, like I say, shut up about the AI. I'm sorry, but it's just so annoying. Talking about slop so much they become the slop. Anyway, from Yahoo Finance. Disney names Parks leader Josh D'Amaro as next CEO, succeeding Bob Iger. Disney announced Tuesday that Josh D'Amaro, the head of its parks and cruise businesses, will succeed Bob Iger as its next CEO in March, as the company continues to navigate changes across its sprawling experiences, films, sports, and streaming units. Now, I want to take a quick pause here, because I was listening to The Journal, and they were talking in one episode recently, like this week, last week, whatever, it would have been last week, about a kind of recent pivot that Disney has kind of been making over the past year or so, which essentially saying, hey, you know, normally you might say like our bread and butter kind of was movies. You know, we were making kind of a, you know, more blockbuster money. That was more of our focus. But actually what's been doing so well, and maybe what we need to be like really shoring up and defending, or, you know, and trying to keep flourishing, make flourish more, whatever, is our parks. Like, you know what I mean? People really value this experience. If we can, you know, quote unquote, make it as quality as possible, then of course we can keep juicing and justifying a high price for it. And that's going to keep making this fucking money. Awesome. So maybe that says something here, that a guy like this Josh D'Amaro, who is a part of the parks and cruises, I don't know what the cruises end of it is. Maybe that's something there. Maybe they're like, okay, that's a good sign. We need a guy who's been actually growing and showing growth. He's a grower and a shower, you know, maybe this is our new CEO, you know, but yeah, we are officially leaving our Bob era. We had Bob Iger, then Bob Iger let the you know, pass the torch to Bob Chapek, and then Chapek kind of floundered, didn't do too great. And then Bob Iger had to come back. He had Al Pacino, Godfather 3, come back, you know, got pulled back into the game. Had to deal with a bunch of bullshit, you know. I mean, he had a whole fight with fucking Florida, Ron DeSantis. You know, we covered that. We talked about that. And I think he came in ready to be done. And I guess maybe this Josh D'Amaro guy is the new hope. Not that I mean, let's be real. I'm not rooting for Disney. Fuck Disney, man. I don't care. I mean, sure, I like a goofy Donald. I fuck with Kingdom Hearts. That has a place in my heart. But, you know, it's another corporation, man. I don't really give a shit. And when was the last Disney movie I can even remember? I don't know. Like, definitely not the new ones. So that's why I kind of, like, are there really any new good Disney movies? Ooh, Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 was really good. No kinda about it. I fucked with I cried on Big Hero 6. I love Big Hero 6. So that's my kind of shit right there. And I feel like that's like Disney and Marvel. I mean, it makes sense now that they're all under the same umbrella now, right? Because they just do this formulaic shit until it doesn't work anymore. They drive it into the dirt and then they go, okay, well, how do we revamp the formula to kind of get more meat in the seats? You know what I mean? Like, and I remember saying this before, like when Moana, but more importantly, as Frozen came out first, and then Moana, and I kind of realized, like, and call me crazy, call me controversial, I'm like, this shit's kind of the same. We just change up the characters and the setting and obviously the culture and all that, and that's cool, awesome. But like I fuck with Moana, it's great, but it just doesn't feel that different. I don't know. And then just kind of reminded me of, like, back when I was a kid, I remember all of the, you know, obviously the cartoons, Little Mermaid, Lion King, those all kind of felt like the same, right? You know, and then granted, when Toy Story came out, well, goddamn, that was crazy. You got me. And then, I mean, now we have like 5,000 of the motherfuckers. They go, I know, we're going back to, I think, AI or something. I think essentially, maybe it's not AI. I think, Andy grows up and his kid doesn't fuck with toys. He's like, does gizmo gadgets and he won't go outside or anything or whatever. I don't know. He's an iPad kid. And I think the story is like, oh, I'm going to bust out my old toys and that'll really, you know, connect with him. That'll really like get him. I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. Maybe I'm completely off on that shit, but I don't care. I stopped after what, Toy Story 3, 4? I don't know. Wherever the evil Care Bear was, that was the last Toy Story I remember seeing. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. I just wanted to kind of yap some more about Disney stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Is this a bright future for Disney? Time will tell. We will see. Maybe this Tomorrow guy is the new future that they needed. You know, maybe they just needed to stop with all the Bobs. But anyway, that's it. That's all I have for today. That is the episode. Thanks for letting me, I gotta say up top, thank you for letting me rant. Thank you. Like, it is nice to have a place like this where I can just kind of keep it. And I know, 4 or 5 people got to hear me moan and groan, but I appreciate y'all for putting up with that. Thank you so much. But yes, if you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of these socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Sorry. Leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Always appreciate it. Always nice when you do that. Thank you. But if you don't do any of that, thank you anyway, because you've made it this far. You're hearing me do a closeout. I don't have anything else to really add out than, the old outro part, and you're still hanging out because you're a completionist, and I love you for that. You're so good. You're so cool for that, dude. Thank you, because I know this is its own slop, all right? Sadly, I know I could get outdone by a fucking chatbot AI, But you come because you like human beings yapping about their real ass life and trying to sort out the news in the world just like you. And I appreciate you for being in this shit with me. Okay. All right. I cannot say that enough. So thank you so much. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.